You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shady, my bros raw. No breaks, we go, 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 go. Throw shade, that's a no, 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 no. Go high, go low, low, low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more, more, more. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I'm a real one, my day ones. Try speak up, can't say none. Try dig dirt, there ain't none. I make the money that save up. 10 to 80, my savings. Take to the top from the basement. New car, race on. Fast lane, pace on. With the booyah, that's a flex. Not human, I ain't from another planet. I'ma teleport, might vanish. I'ma wake up, do damage. Join number 7, East Bordeaux. Working all night, need more though. I remember nights I was poor though. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Welcome to X Venture here live on Twitch TV. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Dustin Moore, and we're locked and loaded for another night of racing here with the Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 4 of Season 40. And because this is week number 4, it marks the last point here in the season in which we have 2 races in the evening, because a week from tonight will be the finale, which is just one single race. And then it also marks the point at which our drivers have to really play catch-up to have a chance to vie for the championship here going into this 5th and final week in Season 50, the very celebratory Season 50, the A-Class Shootout. So we'll see if any of our drivers are able to do that here this evening. LS Subaru, after picking up a second victory there in week number 3. Well, that's not exactly what I was trying to show. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Has established a more sizable lead here over second and third. It was Oops Arena who was in second. That was before AMS Storm picked up a few more points following a victory in week number 2. But AMS Storm getting that win. That was out at, wait for it, Lime Rock. Putting Oops Arena back a few spots. And it wasn't just solely because of that victory by AMS Storm. Oops Arena, who had been off to a good start here in Season 50, placing 4th. Out at Road America for race number 1, placing 1st. Race number 2. Looks like maybe finishing 5th out at Daytona. And 6th out at Lime Rock. Those outside the podium position finishes are what's doing it here for Oops Arena in terms of dropping down behind AMS Storm. Still out in front of Cratrium at 171, but Oops Arena 176 to AMS Storm's 178, 190 there by LS Subaru. What's going on there, Subaru? How you doing? There in the chat. Man, I tell you what, it's quiet around here. It is super quiet. I don't know what's going on here today. But a little bit on the low end in terms of the initial eyes on the stream. Here's a look at the schedule today. It is an all Germany kind of race day. Nürburgring GP, 14 laps, followed by the Nordschleife for 4. And this is all before our finale. Again, 1 week from tonight, out at Circuit of the Americas. For those of you who are subscribers to the channel here, for providing your extra bit of support to the broadcast, you have the ability to name a corner out at Circuit of the Americas. And as the drivers go around the track next week, if they happen upon your corner, I will call the name out that you've given me. Now, this is a pretty family-friendly stream, so you can keep the names within the I don't know, the PG-13 parameters. I think that would be just fine. Have a little fun with it. But don't get too carried away. It's the story of our lives, right? Have fun, but not too much fun. The drivers are joining into the lobby, and as I speak, we've got Audrex, Cratrium, Joe Beardy, Enraged Barney, Fear the Fun, Patches Riley, Oops Arena, Dominic PSD. That's a new gamer tag, at least to me. So a new face out on the track here this evening. Slow Motion Fire, Subaru, Modern Weapon, Born as Ghost, and Midnight Riders. So 13 drivers here on the grid at the moment. We are still a couple of minutes off the top of the hour and at the point at which we will begin qualifying out at the Nürburgring GP. That's where we will start at the 3.2 mile Grand Prix circuit. No weather, and it is at daytime. So we'll see how our drivers fare. Now, if you are new to Season 50 here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, They're doing a little something a little bit different because it is their 50th season. They've picked 10 cars from the prior 49 seasons here in FM4, cars that were tuned, at least at the time, to the top of the A class, which, as we know it here in Forza Motorsport 7, is A700. There is a Honda NSX-R that, because, let's see, what would that have been? That was season number 15 back in 2000, although the vehicle is a 2005, but season 15. So we're probably going back to the Forza Motorsport 4, maybe Forza Motorsport 5 days. And at that time, when that vehicle was tuned the way that they have it here in season 50, it was an A-class car. But now here in season 50, it is slightly above that at S705, I believe it is. S705 or S706 with 412 horsepower, 309 foot-pounds of torque, weighing in at 2,600 pounds. It has been the vehicle of choice for those who are looking for a victory here in season 50, and therefore any driver who competes with that vehicle here tonight could be the odds-on favorite. It just depends on the driving style. You got to have the right driving style to go with it. The horsepower and the braking, the cornering, and all that, absolutely useless if behind the controls you're not up to snuff. We'll go take a look back at those standings here. And again, if you are a subscriber, complete that form. That I'll go ahead and have Nightbot do it again. Well, oh, there it is. There's the link to the Google Docs form. Google form. I don't know. Whatever they call that product. I'm not asking for any personal information there, so you don't have to worry about that. All I'm asking is for you to identify what your gamer tag is. That way I can validate that you are, in fact, a subscriber to the channel. And then you can pick a corner and name it. Good times. Good times to be had there at Circuit of the Americas. All right, we've got 13 drivers in there, all readied up. At any moment here, we should be getting the go-ahead from Slow Motion Fire. And we'll see how Dominic PSD does. Looks like Dominic has opted for the Ford RS500. The RS500 coming from season 31. Has 363 horsepower, 299 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs 2,367 pounds. The vehicle that dates back the furthest in terms of the last time it was used in the Forza Spec Racing Series was back in Season 11, and that is the 2005 TVR Sagaris, however the pronunciation is on that. But there is also the option of driving the Honda NSXR, the Volkswagen Beetle, the 1963 Beetle, the 1996 Subaru SVX, the 98 Aston Martin V8 Vantage, the 2016 BMW M2 Coupe, the 1987 Ford Escort Sierra Cosworth, as I just mentioned, the RS500, the 2011 VW Scirocco R, the 2003 Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale, and the 2004 Subaru Impreza WRX STI. So those are the 10 vehicles. Now, if you're curious, moving forward into Season 51, that won't be the same. I don't know what's going on with Nightbot. I've got all kinds of announcements coming through on Nightbot in the chat here. I'm not sure why that is. I'm sorry. I don't mean for Nightbot to be spamming things in there. But when we move into Season 51, it will not be this, hey, you've got 10 cars to choose from, and whatever floats your boat for any one race, you pick from those. It'll go back, revert to its normal mode of operations here in FM4 with one car. And that one car likely to be chosen by the champion. I haven't confirmed this with Slow Motion Fire, but if I'm guessing what will happen, the Season 50 champion will dictate, as has been the case in seasons past, will dictate what the vehicle is for Season 51. And then everybody, that's the car. That's what you got to work with throughout that entire 5-week, 9-race season. What's up there, Civic Element? Yeah, Nightbot. Exactly. Nightbot, chill. Chill out. We don't need to be... We get it. If anybody's going to overutilize the please subscribe to the channel, it'll be me. Not you, Nightbot. It'll be me. SDR Onion says me right now. What is that? Is it like a guy falling into a pit of cement? Is that what's happening? That doesn't look good at all. All right, so we have lost a driver. I don't know if we're going to see that. I'm trying to think of who that might be. Is that Fear the Fun? Yeah, Fear the Fun has... Before... Well, no, Fear the Fun is here. Fear the Fun's here. Oops, Serena's there. LS Subaru is in there. Amma Storm, I'm not seeing, but I don't know if I even saw Amma Storm at the beginning of the broadcast. I'm not sure. Oh, gosh. And now we're dropping frames. Ghibli Giblets. Dustin, I don't mean to overreact, but I don't know when we will get the next Forza. Are we going to... Are we too cool to get a release date? Yeah. That was the bummer. That was the bummer with last week's event. Was that... They stripped the spring 2023 and have simply gone with 2023. And then I think there was an article. I don't know how legit it is. I think it was from Game Informer or Games Radar. One of the two. That apparently had some sort of inside info that perhaps the game could come out much later in the year than maybe originally thought, like back in the fall, which is, again, normally when we get a Forza title, it is in the fall. So could that be the case here for the new Forza Motorsport title? If that is, it's too bad. I mean, I get the idea, I get the point of like trying to make the game as good as possible, but Forza Motorsport has had the longest development cycle of any Forza title. Is going to have fewer cars, fewer tracks. Sure, the physics seem like they'll be beefed up, but it is a bummer to see. Been at least 5 years in development, I think. At least. All right, here goes Fear the Fun in the TVR, getting around the Nürburgring GP, coming up here to at least what was formerly known as Ford Corner, right here. Coming up, the right-hander. May no longer be the case. To start the 3 laps of qualifying. 3 laps of qualifying. And I've got the stats there in the bottom left to indicate as they go across the line who has the top time. Now through the international hairpin is Fear the Fun. Up to the Schumacher chicane. 3.2 miles is the Nürburgring GP in this layout. This is the Grand Prix layout with the NGK chicane on the backstretch. Out of turn 10. And then a real fun corner right here. I actually do enjoy it, sure. If you're a little over-ambitious, it's easy to run that one wide, but I love how you're coming out of that corner and you're dropping down and getting ready for this straightaway. The charge back uphill into the chicane, and now Fear the Fun into the final right-hander. Back toward the start-finish line. Come in with a time of 2:13 point something, and then Cratcham with a 2:10.7. Let's go ahead and go to LS Subaru, who is just now coming out of the, well, was coming out of the final corner. Ah, I see the timing. The timing was changing here in the bottom left. Okay. LS Subaru now with our second quickest qualifying time. Oops, Serena there was on top before Audrex took that away at 2:09.8. Now, that was on the standing start. It's going to be the next lap and a half, or lap and 3/4 here, that should dictate the grid order on these flying laps, not the standing start. Got to account for the time that it takes to get up to speed. Especially here at the Nürburgring GP. You can see there on the track map in the left corner is that the start-finish line, annotated by that blue arrow of sorts, is quite a ways down the straightaway. So you want to gather all that speed for lap number 2, your first flying lap, and then the second flying lap, lap number 3. What's going on there? Red Duckling, 6234. Nope, 6224. A hello to you. A happy Tuesday. Hopefully you're having a good one. And I appreciate the follow. Got the air wrench going off there. I am doing good. It's I will say I would be doing better if we knew what was happening with the new Forza Motorsport. I'm quite bummed about that. I really am. I'm not overstating it. I know, Ghibli, you prefaced that you didn't want to overreact. I'm not overreacting either. I'm really, really shocked. I really am. We've got a driver there in the VW Beetle just kind of hanging out on the start-finish line. I did not notice that. Which is really weird because I don't see a gray dot at the start-finish line. Let's go to Uf Serena now in the 4th quickest qualifying time. Now make that the 5th. Also driving the TVR Sujaris. Red Duckling, this looks fun. It does look fun. It is a lot of fun. If you'd like to participate, head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. All the details, everything you need to know, and to prep yourself to be a part of the action in Season 51, head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. They consider the Forza Spec Racing Series a beer league, and by they, I mean the participants, the people who are actually involved in things. They are competitive to a point, but really they come out here on Tuesday evenings for about 2 hours of racing, all for bragging rights. Let's go to Audrex, currently with the 3rd quickest qualifying time, and driving that Honda NSX-R, which, again, has the performance index advantage. 412 horsepower. Doesn't have the most horsepower, but this is a vehicle that was born to take on Grand Prix circuits like what we have here. Very much a track car to an extent. I mean, it's also a road-going car, but it's got the leg up on the field of vehicles. So if you go with the NSX-R, you're basically saying, I am vying for a victory here in this race. It has the best chance. All right, our drivers, or at least our first batch of drivers, are coming up across the line. We'll see how those times fare, and then, of course, after everybody's done, we'll take a look at the final qualifying times and get a feel for who will start where for our 14-lap race here at the Nürburgring GP. Season 50, week number 4, race number 7. Across the line comes Audrex. It looks like Krejcim right now with the quick time at a 2:06.8. Let's go to Krejcim real quick. Yes, Krejcim does have the NSX-R, so Krejcim trying to gather some points up. We'll take a look at those standings as a reminder of where things are going into this race. CT going crazy, says Onion. Compliments of the Honda. And our final driver to cross the line has done so. I think maybe we have maybe a few stragglers. Looks like Dominic PSD here in the RS500 on probably their final lap. Perhaps a late start off the line. Getting through the Schumacher S. LS Subaru there in the chat says front row. Yeah, unofficially at the moment, Cratrum will be P1 with LS Subaru in P2. Row number 2 will be Oof Serena and Odds Rex, followed by Enraged Barney and Slow Motion Fire in row number 3. Patches Riley and Joe Beard in row 4. Fear the Fun, Modern Weapon in row 5. Born as Ghost and Dominic in row 6. And gosh, we had 13 drivers. We had 13 drivers in the lobby at one point. That worked its way down to 12. There we go. All right. Yeah, there is, oddly, there's a BW Beetle just sitting there, but there's no gray dot for it. I wonder if somebody had loaded in the lobby, but then when it came to connecting with the lobby on the racetrack, they either got booted or just did not make it out for qualifying. I'm not entirely sure how that happens. But here we go. You see the two drivers who have the Honda NSXR. They're very obvious. They've got the purple performance index indicator of S708. I said S705 earlier. S708. Cratrum at a 206.8. Again, that's good enough for pole. Enraged Barney there with a 208.5, a 213.8. For Fear the Fun, LS Subaru in the BMW M2 with 207.4. Puts Subaru at P2, row number 1. Oof Serena with a 207.5. Again, that'll be good enough for P3 there on row number 2. Audrex also in the NSXR, not faring so well in terms of qualifying time at a 207.7. A 209 triple Ott by Slow Motion Fire. A 211.8 by Modern Weapon. Patches Riley at a 211.6. A 213.2 by Joe Beardy. Born as Ghost and Dominic PSD, both with dirtied qualifying times. And actually, Modern Weapon, I totally skipped over that. Modern Weapon, Born as Ghost, Dominic PSD, all with dirtied qualifying laps. That'll put them at the back of the grid. 211, 214, and 215, respectively. That will be 10, 11, 12, Modern Weapon, Born as Ghost, and Dominic. All right, so there we go. And just as a reminder of how things are shaping up in terms of the championship point total heading into week number 4, LS Subaru, again, extending that lead after picking up a second victory out at the Test Track Airport a week ago at 190. The AMS Storms 178, 176 there for Oops Arena. Cratrum at 171. Blame Barney at 167. Audrex 155, 141 for Joe Beardy. Kuda at 140. 138 for Modern Weapon. How did I forget the N again on Modern Weapon's name? That's the second time this season that Modern Weapon is Motor Weapon. I'm telling you, Modern Weapon, you just got to give, you got to go to that Xbox change gamer tag, and you shall forever be known as Motor Weapon. Fear the Fun at 117 points. Fear picking up a victory in week number 3 out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Welcome back into the broadcast booth. I'm Dustin Moore. And as I always say, hopefully you're having a good Tuesday. If not, perhaps over the next, hour and 45 minutes, we can make it a bit better for you. We've got the Nürburgring GP race here first, obviously, with the qualifying now just complete. And then after that, we'll have qualifying and then a 4-lap race out at the Nordschleife. Yeah, the Green Hell, the big one. The Nürburgring is, as many people know it, the honkin' track, the big size track. Now, this will not be the 24-hour of Daytona, 24-hour of Nürburgring version where you've got both the GP and the Nordschleife, but rather just the Nordschleife all by itself. All right. Looks like Slow Motion Fire is quickly getting everybody into position. What do I have coming up here for the rest of the week? Well, on Friday, I'll be live I currently have it set up for 3 p.m. Eastern time. However, there may be something that keeps me from getting on exactly at that time. But right now, at least at the moment, the game plan is 3 p.m. Eastern with some more Microsoft Flight Simulator, a high-flying Friday. And then on Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, I will finish my playthrough of the single-player 2D side-scrolling Hunt Down pixel art game. That was a good one. I had a lot of fun with that this past Sunday, although I'm realizing after watching the VOD back that the game audio is very, very loud, so I got to get that fixed. But if you'd like to see me finish my playthrough of Hunt Down, I'll be doing that again Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. The following Sunday, I'll be jumping into Mafia Definitive Edition for my playthrough of that one. And then back here a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, with the Forza Spec Racing Series Season 50 finale. There was a typo back in the day with Halo 5 Guardians where if you finished first place, it was listed as Firth. We'll have to see if the new Forza has that typo. I don't think they'll have that new typo, but Firth is cool. Hey, we laugh now, but there was somebody at the time when all this was coming together, when all of our language and how we do things was all coming together, there was probably somebody who proposed that first be Firth. And somebody said, no, we can't do that. It's got to be first. First, let's go with first. All right, Slow Motion Fire telling us that the drivers are ready to go out on the grid. They are, in fact, Craytrim P1, LS Subaru P2. And once Craytrim in that NSXR moves, budges, wiggles, everybody else is free to go. Kick the tires, light the fires. Race number 7 here of Season 50. Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 4 is underway. And into turn number 1, Craytrim's going to lead them here. And now into the Mercedes Arena portion of the GP circuit. Craytrim remains out in front and continues to be followed by LS Subaru, who started opposite of him there at P2, followed by Audrex now, who's moved up. Enraged Barney has also moved up into 4th. Oof Serena dropping back 2 spots to 5th now. Joe Beardy in 6th. Slow Motion Fire, Fear the Fun, Patches Riley, Modern Weapon are 7th through 10th. Or 1th. Yeah, there you go. 1th. Out of the Ford corner they go, making the charge down the hill toward the International Hairpin. I'm calling it that. I think that's the right term. I am second-guessing myself, as I often do. For some reason, I think that is the correct corner. It's got all the flags painted in the grandstands. Something in my head was like, nope, that's not right. That's not correct at all. Out of turn number 10 they go. Craytrim continues to have about a car, 2-car, maybe now 2.5, 3-car length lead over Subaru in the BMW M2 Coupe. Now down the back straightaway they go. Into the bit of a kink right here, the right-hander, and back up the hill toward the chicane. Firth is already a word, but it probably doesn't mean it. It probably doesn't mean what Halo was going for there. Halo 5 Guardians, as Ghibli was pointing out. And here comes Subaru looking to the inside at the final right-hander, but Craytrim just maybe with a little bit more grip there in the NSX. Low-slung car. High center of, or very high amount of equal weight distribution. I don't know that sentence made any sense whatsoever. Great weight distribution is what I really should say there. LS Subaru tagging Craytrim on the back bumper there a little bit. Going into turn number 1. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with LS Subaru and the M2 Coupe. Krejcim doing a good job holding off Subaru at the moment. Now, of course, what is going to be interesting here as this race continues on will be the tire degradation situation. The M2 Coupe, a couple of other drivers have selected this vehicle earlier on in the season, and we've seen those front tires light up in terms of the level of wear that they have on our vehicle damage indicator, which I'll bring up here. Obviously, everything right now nice and well off in the gray. But we'll see if that changes here as we continue on. The beginning of lap number 3 coming up here. Krejcim out in front. LS Subaru in second position, followed by Uve Serena, who's moved back up 2 spots into third and reached Barney in fourth. Audrex in fifth. Sixth is Fear the Fun, Slow Motion Fire, Joe Beardy, Modern Weapon, and Onion are 6th through 10th, or 7th through 10th. Is there snow in the forecast on this track? No. No snow in Forza Motorsport. Although some of you may recall from the Project Gotham Racing years, what was it, Project Gotham 3, maybe? Where they introduced snow to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. You could race that one in the snow. And I'm not saying just snowflakes. I think the track was even covered a bit, and your traction was down. Like, it actually had an impact on your driving ability. It wasn't just cosmetic. Go to Uve Serena here in third now, leading the larger train of cars here from from third on back to sixth. With the TBR. Again, there were 10 vehicles for our drivers to choose from all throughout this season. There are 9 races in total. You can only race each car once. And because there are 10 cars, only 9 races, that means 1 car sits on the shelf. And that will not be the TBR here for Uve Serena, getting through the NGK chicane. All the barriers out of there. As here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, they run with Forza race regulations turned on. That way all those banners and tire walls and stuff are out of the way. Back up to second with LS Subaru here to see if Subaru is going to make a push for first. Going to have to push that into as much as possible. And in fact, I think Krejcim with a larger lead here through the Mercedes arena, and they had a lap ago. Anybody watch the 24 Hours of Daytona this past weekend? I did not. That is correct, Red Duckling. They cannot use a single car more than once. Absolutely. Now that's just for this season, because it is season 50. They're celebrating their 50th season and 10 years of racing here in FM4. But once season 51 comes around, they'll have a single vehicle for the entirety of the season for all 9 races. You were there. You were at the Daytona of 24 Hours of Daytona. Very cool. Very, very cool indeed. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't have it in me to give it a watch this year. I don't know. Can't explain it. Raged Barney and Audrex having a nice little battle here for 4th position after giving Uve Serena a pass back up to P3. It was okay. Even for being there, I feel like being there. I mean, that's just a whole another level of fun. You hear the motors, you can smell all the smells of a 24-hour race. The lights. close LMP2 finishing, right? Is this the last? Is this the last of the Le Mans prototype races? Here this year? Why do I feel like that's a thing? Red Duckling, the only reason I went was because my friends I've known for 5 years were going. Everyone was planning. Oh, there you go. That's a cool way to do it, I think. Like, I don't think I could have my eyes glued on the racing for any extended period of time, much less 24 hours. But if you get a group together and go hang out, entertain one another in between the racing, that seems like the way to go. Back up to LS Subaru, still in P2, and Jack Raytrim is keeping them separated. Bow, 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 bow. Raytrim out there in P1 with the NSXR. Now, it'll be interesting to see here as the race goes on if Audrex is able to, one, close the gap with Oops Arena in the TVR for third, but then also have a shot at possibly LS Subaru in second. I mean, the NSXR provides you that ability, and Audrex is very, very consistent and a very smart driver. Probably one of the more consistent of the FM4 veterans. And so if there's anybody I think that could still be in contention for second at this juncture of the race, the Audrex. Ghibli trying to get LS Subaru to type in chat during the race, of course. Let's go to Oofs Arena back here with the TVR. Once again, I'm Dustin Moore here on X-Venture on a Tuesday evening, doing what we do on Tuesdays. Forza Spec Racing Series. We've got 3 races remaining. After this one, it'll be down to 2. And we'll have a champion crowned 1 week from tonight. And that champion will select the single vehicle to be used in Season 51. I appreciate you being here, and if you're enjoying the content at all and you're not already following the channel, then really that's the most I ask of the viewers. You want to come here and hang out with us and perhaps find your way back to the channel with future broadcasts. Well, to make that easy for you and for you to notify me that you are in fact enjoying your time here, clicking the follow button is the best way to do that. For those of you that have gone above and beyond with your support to the channel through a subscription, either a Twitch Prime sub, courtesy of your Amazon Prime account, or through a monetary paid subscription, then click the link that Nightbot has provided there. You can name a corner for race number 9, the finale, next Tuesday. As the drivers get around the track, I will call out the corner names to include yours. Just one way try to get back to the subscribers, those who extend the additional amount of support. It's really the least I can do. You cleared your calendar for this Tuesday. Very good. Very good. Yes. Everybody take note. Take note and then ball it up and throw it away. That way you have no obstructions. No obstruction whatsoever to getting here to the channel. Clear everything off your calendar and your desk show up, hang out with us here on a Tuesday. Great Trip continues to be our race leader, followed by Subaru, Oops Arena in third, Enraged Barney and Audrex falling off the pace. Their battle continues. Don't get it twisted. These two are still fighting for fourth, but in so doing, I feel like the defensive maneuvering is causing these two to fall off the pace of the top three. Here they go down the back straightaway. Enraged Barney going to look to the inside here at the dogleg right-hander and makes the pass on Audrex for now. Into the NGK chicane they go, up onto the rumble strips, looking very nice and tidy there. Into the final right-hander. It looks like Enraged Barney probably going to bring the TVR down. Oh, brings TVR way down, and that's going to push Enraged Barney wide out of that right-hander. And now Audrex moves back up into fourth position. Down the front straightaway they come, and across the line for the beginning of their lap number 8, it's going to be Audrex, currently showing as 5th. Now make that 4th as they head into the turn 1 right-hander. The Mercedes Arena coming up here. Enraged Barney going to go ahead and see to the back bumper of Audrex's NSX, make a little bit of contact, grab a little bit of the grass, and single file formation now. As they hit the right-hander, it looks like Audrex looked like very overdone in the turning, perhaps overcorrecting. It didn't seem like Audrex's NSX lost any traction, but really swung that thing out wide, perhaps really trying to set it up for a good inside approach there as you exit the Mercedes Arena. But again, it looked like it was maybe slightly overdone, which then had Audrex making a few corrections, coming off the pace, and as a result, slowing Enraged Barney down. And it's those little events right there that I, again, think that is the reason why they are falling off of the third place driver of Oops Arena at the moment. But a really, really solid battle here. Fourth. Back up to Oops Arena, who has caught up here with LS Subaru. As we take a look at Oops Arena's vehicle situation, 11% tire wear up front, only 9% to the rear. Fuel will not be an issue here. But if we compare that to LS Subaru, up to 28%. And while that looks pretty drastic compared to Oops Arena, as many of our drivers will tell us, you really don't feel the loss of traction here in Forza Motorsport 7 at these percentages. It's not until you get around the 60, 65, definitely a lot more closer to 70 that you start to feel it. And with about 6 laps to go here in this 14-lap race, we'll see if that factors in the Subaru's performance here for the remainder of the race. But Oops Arena found the boost button. Who's checking out GoldenEye on the Xbox? Pretty neat stuff. I've actually heard like kind of mixed impressions. Some people very happy with the port. Basically what it is, just a port over with an upscale to 4K. And then I've heard other people say, man, they really didn't do anything to kind of help modernize it a little bit. Which actually got me thinking the other day is, well, you know, Maybe I bust out the N64 and do a little GoldenEye 007 playthrough. I've got the 64. I've got the controllers. I've got the HDMI adapter. Make it happen. Comes Oof Serena here, out onto the front straightaway. And with the M2 Coupe, it's 441 horsepower to the TBR's 448. So Oof Serena should be able to catch Subaru quite nicely here. It's going to be a matter of the twisty bits here. Where she's going to be maybe looking to make a move. But I suppose if you just close that gap, put the nose of the TBR right there on the back bumper of Subaru and wait for that front straightaway to come back around, you can make a safer attempt at that time and not try to push the issue here on the more complex strings of the circuit. Drex remains in 4th position. Enraged Barney in 5th. We saw just that one moment there where Enraged Barney was able to get around. Not as perfectly done as Perfect Dark backwards compatibility. Oh, really? Well, Perfect Dark as backwards compatible. Huh. Like the original Perfect Dark on the N64? I didn't know that that one was even playable. I mean, you had the Xbox 360 Perfect Dark, which, that's a whole nother generation, several generations beyond the GoldenEye title. I mean, the GoldenEye 007 definitely had some very unique controls. The way that your gun kind of, like when you go into aim mode and it kind of just rotates on this axis as you move the gun, like it just doesn't play like a regular first-person shooter. So it's got some wiggle that I think a lot of people who especially didn't grow up on the game that are like, wow, this is different. But then, of course, a lot of us who haven't played GoldenEye quite some time, you fire it up and you're like, ooh, wow, that I don't remember it doing that, but now I do. It had a different aiming style for sure to it. Go back to Oof Serena in 3rd. Yeah, I have the N64 and it runs pretty well still. So fortunately, I can go back and appreciate those in their original form. The original Perfect Dark is available as an arcade backwards compatible title. It's amazing. You should stream that too. It works on the Xbox controller just fine, not like the N64s. Huh. I did not know that. I didn't know they had the original Perfect Dark available as a backwards compatible title because it never released on the Xbox originally. It only was it was an N64 exclusive. Interesting. Couple of other battles out on the track as we see Oof Serena here out of Schumacher. Right there in the right wing mirror of Subaru. Oh, we're going to slide it here through turn number 10. Oh, you know what? It's from the rare replay package, isn't it? What's up there, White Light 48? How do I sign up for the series? Very, very simple. Head on over to reddit.com/r/FN4. The folks in the Forza Spec Racing Series will be very happy to have you. They'll finish out their 50th season here next Tuesday, and then there will be a 3-week intermission or off-season, and after that they'll begin season 51. But yeah, definitely head on over to reddit.com/r/FN4. Introduce yourself, say, hey, I'd like to participate. If you'd like to get out on the track for the finale here in season 50, you're more than welcome to. As a matter of fact, we have a newcomer out on the track as I speak. Dominic PSD is out there running their own race, and it doesn't matter your skill level. Yeah, I don't think you have to download the full package. I think they had the full package available. But then, yes, you're right that there were the other titles. Actually, now that you mention it, I do recall loading it up on the Xbox One. Back on the Xbox One and playing it a little bit. I do remember that. What I really wish I still had was a Super Nintendo, though. I really wish I still had the old Super Nintendo. All right, here we go. Oops Arena with about 2.5 laps remaining. Oh, she dives into the inside here at turn number 10, makes contact with LS Subaru, allows LS Subaru to go ahead and resume P2 position. And the battle will continue on. Back into the dog leg here on the back straightaway up to the chicane. The other battles that are out here on the track include that of Audrex and Enraged Barney, which we've seen a couple of times, but there's also Slow Motion Fire and Fear the Fun, 6th and 7th. Here comes Oops Arena to the inside. Final right-hander. Can she make it stick? That she does. And let's see if she's going to go ahead and squeeze Subaru along the grass there. Perhaps no need. Down the front straightaway. Rear wheel of the TBR alongside the front wheel of the front wheels of the M2 Coupe of Subaru into turn number 1. Looking nice and tidy. Folks, in your multiplayer lobbies, take notes. That's the way that it should look, right there. And they're going to continue this twofer through the Mercedes Arena, side by side. Oops Arena is going to have the advantage here through the next corner. Got a little bit of a bump here. The TBR stays nice and planted. Oh my gosh, look at this. The side by side continues. Oops Arena dropping down a little bit low there into the left-hander, catching Subaru perhaps a little bit off guard and making contact. And with that, Oops Arena secures P2, at least for now, into the hairpin. Oops, sorry. No, those were all just, that was all definitely very minor contact. Even the dive into turn number 10 was fairly innocuous, not very impactful to either driver. And giving Subaru the courtesy to continue on in second was absolutely the right move. And to go ahead and try to make the pass another corner was that's the sportsmanship. That's really all they ask of you here in FM4 is just to exhibit that genuine sporting friendly nature out on the track. If you're a competitor on the lead lap, just being courteous to those around you and passing and defending safely. But then even those of you that are not on the lead lap, as you have traffic approaching, just being mindful of those. And you don't have to dart out of the way. You don't have to jump off the track, but just giving the lead lap traffic a path to overtake is the way to go. And keep your driving style clean out there, and you'll certainly be invited back week after week. Let's go ahead and take a look at that overpass Oops Arena had, or overtake that Oops Arena had. Not an overpass. It's a whole different thing in the vehicle world. But the overtake that Oops Arena had about a lap ago here, almost at this very point of the track, out of the Mercedes Arena. Nice tandem side-by-side driving. And then there, the little bit of contact in the left-hander as Oops Arena was kind of squeezing LS Subaru toward the grass. And that was that. Lap number 14, the final lap here. That 15th lap you see there in the upper left-hand corner, that is just a cool-down lap. Our race leader, Cratrim, encountering a little bit of lap traffic right now, but with about a 4 to 5 second lead on Oops Arena here in second. Cratrim should be good to secure the win here in race number 7 of 9. Love the Malibu Stacy car. What is Malibu Stacy? I don't know what that is. Is that just a spoof of Barbie? Malibu Barbie? And then Ghibli coming in with the Stacy's car has got it going on. Nice. Good reference. All right, out onto the front straightaway here after this final right-hander. Oops Arena, so long as there's no tire spin, doesn't lose the back end of the TBR, should be good to finish second. Cratrim is, in fact, going to finish in first. And there you go, Oops Arena second, LS Subaru in third. Let's go back to Enraged Barney. Not going to be able to get around Odd Drex here for fourth. Into the kitty litter goes Enraged Barney's TBR. Let's go back to sixth here. The singular VW Beetle out on the track, I do believe. Slow motion fire. Going to finish out in front of Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun in the TBR. Unable to get around. How about that? A Beetle beating the TBR. Let's go to Born as Ghost here in 8th position. Born as Ghost there into the back of Fear the Fun as they line up for Slow Motion Fire to take note of where everybody finished. Modern Weapon will round out the top 10, and that is Modern with an N, not Motor Weapon, as I apparently like to list here on the leaderboard. For whatever reason, Motor Weapon seems to be a thing. All right, folks, as is the usual series of events here on Forza Spec Racing Series Tuesday. We'll go ahead and take a pause there. I'll make note of where everybody finished here for the first race of the evening. We'll go ahead and run a few ads. For those of you who are followers of the channel, it does support the broadcast, not only with the little bit of the cut that comes to me after Twitch takes theirs, but then also prevents drivers, or not drivers, but viewers from having to see those pre-roll ads when they join us in the broadcast. So if you hang out through those, I promise you won't miss anything. I'll play some music for those of you who are subscribers to the channel, and if you are a subscriber, again, a reminder, go ahead and complete that form that you see there in the chat, courtesy of Nightbot, and name a corner for our 9th and final race of the season, the finale. That'll take place 1 week from tonight, and I'll call out those corners as the drivers are getting around. You're watching the Forza Spec Racing Series Season 50, week number 4. We've wrapped up the first race of the evening. We'll be heading out to the Green Hell, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, when we get back. I'm Dustin Moore, and we will be right back.
Drive
And a big welcome back to those of you watching live here on Twitch. For those of you that might be watching this on demand on YouTube or here on Twitch, thank you so much for your viewership either way. I appreciate that. All right, race number 7 of the season, our first here of the evening out at the Nürburgring GP. The Grand Prix circuit has wrapped up. Cratron picks up the win, but before we talk to perhaps our winner of the race, although that may not be the case, before we do that, let's go ahead and bring on in SDR Onion here into the driver's spotlight. SDR Onion, if I'm not mistaken, I think you might have qualified with a dirty lap. Is that right?
No, I didn't qualify at all.
You didn't qualify at all, so it might as well have been a dirty lap.
I just kind of sent it. I was sitting in Twitch chat. I was like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm here for one race."
Yeah, well, not a bad appearance there for somebody who didn't do the qualification and just jumped out there, finishing 9th after, is that Barney, and then out in front of Modern Weapon. So yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, could have done better.
Could have done better.
Always could have done better.
Okay, I see in the lobby you're showing as having the TVR, but I think you just selected that for the Nordschleife.
Nope, I was driving the TVR.
Running?
I was in the TVR.
Oh, you were in the TVR. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You could have done better if you had selected a different vehicle, or you could have done better even in the TVR. Which one is it?
Oh, both. Absolutely both. I haven't driven since last week, and you saw how bad I did last week. So I don't know. I could have practiced or did qualifying, but I'm just here for fun. I'm so finished with this game at this point that I'm just out here to have a good time. The results don't really matter anymore.
Just going through the motions, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if Fear made better tunes as well. I'm calling them out.
Yeah, no, I mean that's probably the one that you can hang your hat on the most is blame Fear for.
It's always Fear's fault.
For bad tunes.
Yeah.
Talking with SDR Onion here in the chat. So are you going to go ahead with the Nürburgring race then? The Green Hell?
No, I won't be.
No?
I got things to do, people to see, places to be.
Oh my gosh. So you're gonna leave us here with this interview and not take it around the 30, 40 something corner Nordschleife.
No, not gonna.
Okay. Fair enough. If you had run the race, what vehicle would you have used of the remaining vehicles that you had to choose from?
To be honest, I don't remember which cars I have chosen. I know that if I'm here for the endurance, I'll be using the Ferrari.
Oh yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't know. Maybe it was you. But the 360 Challenge Stradale, I was wondering why it wasn't getting used as often as it was. But then somebody said, "Hey, the Challenge Stradale there, the Ferrari seems to be a good combo with the Circuit of the Americas there for the final race." So, hopefully you will join us. It sounds like we've got some folks who are interested. Dominic PSD there in the lobby raced out at the Nürburgring GP. I know somebody else was asking here in the chat about signing up. So, might as well make it a hoopla there in week number 5, the 9th race.
Exactly. Get as many. We want to get. Well, let's get 22 cars out on track. Why not?
22. You say 22. I say 23. Why not 23?
23 is a bad number. It's like prime.
Michael
and
Jordan
gross.
would argue otherwise.
It's prime and gross. 22 is a nicer number. It's palindromic. It's even.
But let's look
composite.
at it. Let's look at it from the point of being able to say that the lobby is full.
Let's do 24 drivers. No Dustin. Get out of here.
What? You could have 23 drivers and still me?
No, 24 drivers, no Dustin.
Oh. Right on. Yeah, I see how it is. You're going to come in here, drop into the driver's spotlight, have an interview, say deuces, not run the 8th race of the season, and throw me under the bus and say, "Nah, we don't need you to commentate it. We can just get 24 drivers in here and have a good old time."
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'll stream it.
I see how it is.
No.
All right, over to our driver spotlight, LSDR Super. Onion, I truly mean that just for the laughs. I appreciate you dropping in here, but let me get Subaru into the chat now at this point. Subaru, finishing third, which is by no means anything to scoff at. I mean, you've had podium positions in which I say, oh, hey, you would have preferred that race to go better. But in this case, Kracham in the NSXR, so that's a very, very strong car, a car that's doesn't really have any competition here when in the hands of the right driver. And then Serena having one heck of a drive there in the TVR. Is third as good as you had hoped, or was there a possibility that you could have held off Serena and the TVR, or was the M2 just not cut out for it?
Seeing the pace of the TVR, I could see that P2 would probably be a big ask.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back at the race, it was a big ask. The TVR had just better pace in general over the BMW. So getting a P3 finish, I think, is something to be satisfied with.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, especially after your performance there in week number 3, getting the win out at the test track, really expanding your lead in the championship total. I mean, I thought for sure just how things were going through those first 5 races of the season where you'd only one victory. Granted, you had several podiums in the mix, that things would be a lot closer here going into week number 5, but certainly that week 3 performance did help you. But now we go from the GP circuit, we hop over to its bigger brother here, the Nordschleife. As I take a look at the lobby, looks like you've got the M2, which obviously you can't rerun. So what are you gonna race here for race number 8 of season 50?
I will be joining Riley and Fiat in the Ferrari for this race.
Okay. Somebody hinted to me that the Ferrari might do very well out at Circuit of the Americas. Did you consider that at all, or were you pretty fixated on using this one here?
That was me. I hinted to you that the Ferrari would be good at Coda and the TVR.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just found the Ferrari was faster than the TVR, the Nordschleife for me, so that should probably tell you what car I'm using next week then for the endurance race. But yeah, I'm using the Ferrari for this race.
Oh wait, hold on. Is LS Subaru confirming here before we even get to the end of race 8 that you will be participating in week 5?
Yeah, these weeks have been really boring. So FM4 is the only thing I have to look forward to at the moment.
Usually, if Subaru, for those of you watching at home, if Subaru has the championship locked up, usually makes it a 4-week hiatus before the next season starts. But telling us that you'll take the TBR out to Circuit of the Americas, very very cool. So looking forward to that. What's your approach here for qualifying? Is this a race? Well, obviously, I mean you're just always fast anyway. So I don't even know why I'm asking this question, but considering how congested it can get once the race actually kicks off, 13 drivers presumably on the track, although it looks like we've got 12 in the lobby here. Do you kind of try to strategically approach qualifying here to be at some certain point of the pack to avoid any collisions, or are you just gunning it for the beginning or for the front of the pack no matter what?
I think as with all qualifying, I think it's especially important for this one to just get the clean lap in.
Yeah.
Because it's such a long lap, you
Yeah.
know, 7 minutes plus to do a single lap. So making sure that you get that one lap in and that it's a clean lap will be very crucial to getting a good position here for the race.
Yeah, it's not often that the Forza Spec Racing Series comes out to these kind of monolithic tracks like the Nürburgring, maybe much less so Le Mans, even though I would categorize it in the same bucket. But this is one of those tracks where even your quicker drivers, if they make a mistake during qualifying, that could be all it takes for them to be at the back of the pack, have to make their way through the field on all the twists and turns that is the Nordschleife, and try to get back up there for a podium spot. So very curious to see how that one pans out. Subaru, it sounds like you probably have the details here. I'm not sure. I have it confirmed with Slow Motion Fire, but is it one singular qualifying lap? Is that what we're doing here?
Yep.
Okay.
Just one qualifying lap for the event. So the people will be starting at the back will have a little bit of an advantage because
Yeah.
they'll be carrying more speed into turn 1. But
Yep.
yeah, it's just a standing start lap. Just try and get the lap clean.
Can you, as somebody at the front of the pack, actually reverse and then move forward before crossing the line? Is that possible here in Forza Motorsport 7?
Sorry, what was the question?
Like, instead of, like you said, those who are lined up at the back of the grid here for the qualifying session have a little bit of advantage by getting a run up to get up to speed there at the start line. But if you're at the front of the grid, before you even cross the line to start your lap, could you theoretically back up and get that run up?
Yeah, you could. That's definitely a strategy.
Will you do that?
Probably not. No.
You're just gonna
No,
wait,
that's just extra effort when I can just drive forward and finish the lap.
let the cards fall where, let everything be where they lie. Like if you're at the front of the grid, then just make the most of it, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. One qualifying lap. It's going to be a 4-lap race. Would make absolutely no sense to do 3 laps of qualifying. So, Subaru, best of luck to you in getting that clean lap. We'll see how everybody else does out here for the 40 or so corners. I don't even know if that's even the right number. It might be much higher, but best of luck to you. We'll see you at the finish line here.
Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, gosh, he jumped out himself. I moved my own name out of the interview section. All right, so there you go, which is everything that I thought would be the case. I just hadn't confirmed it with Slow Motion Fire, but in these long tracks where the race itself is only 4 laps, it makes no sense for there to be a 3-lap qualifying session, so you just get the one. You just have the one, and for those of you that are a little bit further up on the grid order, well, I guess you have a decision to make. Do you want to just gun it and run it with as much space as you have with the start-finish line to work with? Or do you perhaps throw it into reverse, back it up a bit, give yourself a little bit of a running start, and go? I don't know. Maybe Soul Motion Fire and them have already advised that the drivers don't do that. Not sure. All right. I'll go into spectate mode. I wasn't sure that everybody was ready, but clearly Soul Motion Fire says, hey, we've got the gang all ready to go, so Dustin, do your thing, and that I will. It is qualifying here at the Nürburgring GP. There is no weather, no precipitation. It is in the daytime, which makes it easier for us to see and the drivers to see, so perfect. It's going to make probably for a good race. We'll see how it all goes. And now our first driver here off the line is going to be Fear the Fun. What's up there? Orange You Glad? One of my favorite Twitch names on the platform. Orange You Glad. What up? How's it going? There goes Fear the Fun. Already screaming through the corners here in the 360 Challenge Stradale and off and into the dirt. So just like that, Fear the Fun already off to a dirtied lap time. And for those of you keeping score at home, because you are, right? Yes? The slowest clean lap time will always place you further forward on the grid than the than the fastest dirty lap time. So you get that little triangle with the exclamation mark inside it on your lap time here. You can be the fastest out there with that time. But everybody else with a clean lap will grid higher than you. Yep. Here comes Kracham. Kracham with the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. One of the first seasons that I commentated. Not the first, but one of the first. Back there in season 25. I do believe I started with season 24 with the Fiat X19. Then the Aston Martin V8 Vantage came around, and that was a really, really competitive season. I think we had 23 drivers that one. And surprise, surprise, a lot of people said, hey, at A-Class, this car is very competitive. And so not only did their use of the vehicle extend their racing in the Forza Spec Racing Series, but then also over into the multiplayer ABC lobbies, saying, hey, this thing does work. 607 horsepower. It's got the most horsepower of any car here in Season 50, and a matching amount of torque at 607 foot-pounds, weighing in at 3,663 pounds. It is, in fact, the heaviest vehicle here in Season 50. Can we do a game type where LS Subaru closes his eyes and I tell him where to turn it? Oh, it's like a Twitch Plays, huh? Like they have Twitch Plays and the people in the chat tell the game what to do. They make commands that have the game do things. The craziest one, and I still can't fathom how it's possible. I think Twitch Plays has completed a run of Dark Souls. I can't even do that by myself. And yet they did that with chat commands? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. All right, Enraged Barney also in the V8 with the very traditional Aston Martin green paint job there. Nicely done. Borden's Ghost. Borden's Ghost driving the RS 500. It's going to be really difficult to judge who has the quickest time during this qualifying session because, again, each driver crossing the line at a different point in time means they're at a different stage of their lap than perhaps the driver in front of them or even the driver behind them. They could be in front of somebody, but still be running a slower lap. There goes Enraged Barney through the carousel, the first carousel here at the Green Hell, and absolutely waging hell there on the Aston Martin. 607 horsepower, giving a smoke show through the carousel. Let's go to Borna's Ghost. Oh yeah, the whole thing. I'm pretty sure if you did a Google search, you could probably find like Twitch Plays completes Dark Souls, and that is a crazy feat. Let's go to LS Subaru in the 360 Challenge Stradale. Subaru telling us they're in the driver's spotlight, that he found this vehicle to be better out here at the Nürburgring than the TVR, and plans to run the TVR out at Circuit of the Americas 1 week from tonight for the Season 50 finale. Anticipating a whole slew of 360 CSs there in Austin next week, as a lot of people have kept this vehicle in their back pocket. I believe that means for Subaru that the one vehicle he will not have raced here in Season 50 would be the VW Beetle. That hails from Season 16. Let's go back to Fear the Fun, who is now out onto the long straightaway here. Again, this is not the 24 hours of Nürburgring combo, so they'll cross the line after doing the squiggly bits here, avoiding the Grand Prix circuit. And we know for sure that Fear the Fun already has a dirtied lap. So it'll be a matter of who is joining him in that elite club of dirty lap times and who will not be joining in the more elite clean lap times. Into the final right-hander goes Fear the Fun, and across the line with a 7:20.225. Let's go to Oops Arena. Let's say you were imprisoned and told to get out to be set free to live as a free man. You have the Twitch command complete Dark Souls on the... No, I couldn't even... There's no way. That's an impossible escape plan. It wouldn't happen. Like I said, I don't think I've... Oh, and Oops Arena! Oops it into the tire wall there with the WRX STI. So that's a dirty lap. Still can be quite fast, but dirtied. It's up there, BNX, Kobe, Big Oof, Serena, LMAO. All right, so we got one driver to cross the line yet, and we'll take a look here at the qualifying times to try to get a sense of where everybody is. All right, let's see. I count 3, 6, 7 plus a DNF. So we got Fear the Fun at a dirtied 720.2. Kracham with a 722.7 dirtied. LS Subaru also with a dirtied qualifying time. There you go. Subaru pointed it out that you want to try to get that clean qualifying time to be up toward the front of the grid. Now, the positive thing here for Subaru is that there are quite a few dirtied laps. This is going to put Subaru about mid-pack. Going to be the quicker driver of the dirtied qualifying time. So I guess there's that to be proud of. Enraged Barney with a clean 727.7, 739 dirty there for Born as Ghost. Audrex with a 729.2, clean. Oof Serena. Maybe that collision with the tire wall wasn't what triggered the dirtied qualifying time. Could have happened earlier in the session, but a 744.0 there for Oofs. And in the NSXR is Modern Weapon with a 747.7. Joe Beardy with a clean 732. That's going to be good enough for row number 1, P2. 750 there for Slow Motion Fire in row number 2, alongside Joe Beardy with a 732.1. Patches Riley with dirtied 759, and Dominic PSD unable to qualify, getting the DNF. We'll see if Dominic gets out there on the track for race itself. 4 laps out here at the Nürburgring, and Slow Motion Fire, if you remember from our conversation a week ago, said that the damage will be turned on. Simulation damage will be turned on. So unless they've had a change of heart, that is what our drivers have to keep in mind, is that you don't want to get too crazy with it. It's a long, long way back toward pit lane here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. So let that be known. Let that be known that you want to take it a little bit easy. There is a level of speed that you want to have to be competitive, but at the same time, you got to know your limits, know your car's limits, and then know your limits as the driver in terms of what is possible to avoid contact with the wall. You don't want to have terminal damage. You don't want to have the terminal damage. 730 dirty. There you go. Blame Barney. Very emphatic pole position there in the chat. There you go. Very well done. Let's go ahead and go to the driver's spotlight. We've got Joe Beardy in here. And Joe Beardy, let's see here. I want to verify. Yes, a 732. I thought that was the case. A clean 732, more importantly. That's going to put you in row number 2. You got to be proud about that.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Heck yeah!
It's a lot better than what I did in the last session.
The BMW M2, are you pretty fond of the vehicle? I mean, it did pretty good for you there. Are you going to be able to handle it for 4 laps now?
I'm hoping so. The only thing with this car is that it does burn a lot of fuel. When I was doing my testing with it prior, I can complete a lap in about 24% fuel. So I'll have about 1% of fuel to fluctuate
Wow.
each lap. So I got to try to keep my foot out of the throttle a little bit.
We saw a little bit of it out at the Nürburgring GP for those who were driving the M2. I don't think it was of any concern there, but something seems to remind me that earlier on, maybe in week 3 or week 2, those who had the M2 were also dealing with some tire degradation. Perhaps that was out at Daytona, and that's of course a whole different beast there on the tri-oval. But in your testing, was there anything notable with regards to tire performance?
Tires seem to be okay here. That one didn't seem to hinder me. Yeah, it's mostly just fuel. This thing just likes to burn a lot and suck it on down. So I think I'm just gonna have to get a good start, keep it out of trouble, and I'm hoping that if I can just stay in the front pack, let everyone else kind of work out their troubles and their problems. I'm hoping I can ride this thing into a podium position here. This is one of my all-time favorite tracks, like forever. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Nice. I love the goal setting there. You're going to have slow motion fire lined up opposite of you there in P4. You did about 18 seconds better than slow motion fire. So I think that bodes well. That is, as long as you can keep pace with not Krejcim, but Enraged Barney and Audrex there, you guys can maybe have a trio of cars to leave the main pack. Now, of course, the question comes that as you see people kind of lurking in your rear view mirror, what's your approach there? Is it once they get to a certain point that you're just going to have to say, hey, go on past, or are you going to be defensive all the way through?
I'll be defensive. I've always been a defensive driver. I mean, even in real life racing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll race everybody clean, of course, but catching somebody at the Nürburgring is one thing, but passing them here, that's going to be another story.
Gotcha. Is there any one part of the track here on the Nordschleife that's going to prove challenging for the M2? I know there's a couple of areas where vehicles can get airborne, some areas where the vehicle can bottom out, of course, all depending on suspension settings and all that. But if there's one part of the track, if you can identify it, that's going to be a nuisance for you, where might that be?
Oh man, not so much of a sector per se, because the car does drive well around here. It's the curbs. There's certain curbs you can use, and then I've found there's definitely certain curbs that they'll get you in trouble. So I think avoiding curbs at all cost, really, and I just keep the car on the track and just keep it in one piece, because I'm sure we all know that it doesn't take much to get out of shape here at the Nordschleife, and your race is over.
You make a great point. The curbing here is notorious. Here in Forza Motorsport 7, at least, maybe not as detrimental or damaging in the real world, although I know some of them most certainly are. You got different pitch and camber to the curbing, so IDing which ones you can use and those you want to stay far away from is going to be crucial in this one. Just last question here for you is. It's a long race, albeit it's only 4 laps, but it is a very long race. 12.93 miles is the Nordschleife. So how do you kind of keep yourself focused without getting too tunnel vision, but at the same time not getting so relaxed that you get careless and end up in the grass and into the wall?
Ooh, keep the palms dry. I don't know. I think it's just don't let my hands clam up.
On that straightaway, try to make as much time to wipe those bad boys down as you can, huh?
Yeah, focus on the breath. Get the heart rate back too while we're at it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well done on the qualifying time. P3 here for Joe Beardy going into the 8th race here of season 50. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right. And with that, Joe Beardy was our only driver here in the driver spotlight. Before the race gets kicked off, we just have one other driver to ready up. That's going to be Dominic PSD, who's going to be in the Honda NSX-R. Joining Dominic is Modern Weapon in the Honda, and that will be the only two who have opted for the NSX-R. Krejcim in the Aston Martin Vantage, Audrex with the TVR Sageris, Subaru WRX STI there for Oops Arena. We saw, unfortunately, making that contact with a tire barrier toward the end of the qualifying session, LS Subaru, as he told us and shared with us there in the driver spotlight, going with the 360 Challenge Stradale. Joe Beardy in the M2 Coupe, who we just talked to. Enraged Barney also in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Patches Riley in the Challenge Stradale. Soul Motion Fire in the TVR. And now that we've got the grid ordered here, it's going to be Enraged Barney, Audrex, row number 1. Joe Beardy, Soul Motion Fire in row number 2. Subaru and Fear the Fun there in row number 3. That starts the series of drivers with the dirty qualifying times. Kraitcham and Born as Ghost, they're in row number 4. All right, here we go, says Soul Motion Fire. Here we go indeed. And there's Enraged Barney, P1. Everybody revving their motors, and as soon as Enraged Barney takes off, everybody's free to go. We're underway, race number 8 of 9 here in Season 50, the Forza Spec Racing Series. Drivers of all skill levels competing for bragging rights here in the A-Class Shootout, celebrating 50 years. Or excuse me, 50 years, wow. Whew! 50 seasons of the Forza Spec Racing Series, 10 years in operation, and Enraged Barney already looking strong, having the advantage of knowing when he was going to launch from the start line. Going to be followed by Audrex, who's already moved up the second position. Joe Beardy in third. LS Subaru now getting around Soul Motion Fire for fourth. What's up there, Penguin? How you doing? Be Swift, Barney P. Winklebottom. Oh my gosh, the audio is probably really loud for you all, huh? There we go. Turn that down. I think I forgot to turn it down during qualifying as well. You guys gotta shout at me there in the chat when you guys are like, "Oh gosh, Dustin, it's too loud," or perhaps you rather it that way. You wanted to have the sound of the cars drowning out my voice. I understand. I gotcha. All right, here they go. LS Subaru rolling up on the Joe Beardy real quick, and Joe Beardy making contact with the TVR of Audrex. Audrex off into the dirt. And that is not how Joe Beardy wanted this race to start. For Enraged Barney, that's exactly, well, maybe not wanting to have drivers make contact like they did. But Enraged Barney now, as a result, with a good lead at this point. Now, we still have a good chunk of lap number 1 here to go. And then 3 to follow. So plenty of racing, but a lot of things can still go wrong. It's Subaru in second. Fear the Fawn now up to third, also in the Challenge Stradale. Kraitcham in fourth. Audrex in fifth. Serena in sixth position. And that's where we'll put the camera here. The WRX STI, I think the only one out on the track here for race number 8. Followed by Joe Beardy in 7th, able to recoup things. There you see the M2 of Joe Beardy getting a little bit squiggly as they make the dash downhill. Let's take a look at the, well, that's Serena's vehicle situation. Let's go back to Joe Beardy, see if Joe Beardy sustained any damage. And none that I can tell. Audrex is able to make a pretty good recovery. Currently running 5th, no damage to that vehicle as well. So, yeah, a little bit of contact. Audrex sliding it out and around into the dirt, but able to get it turned back into the right direction. And now not too far back from Kraitcham in 4th. Let's go to Subaru in 2nd. Penguin says, nah, this is Barney's win coin. If I know Barney, and boy do I, he popped off. All right, well, there's a lot of work cut out for Barney, because here comes the duo of Challenge Stradales very early on here. Already catching up Subaru said that the Challenge Stradale was very, very quick here at the Nürburgring, and while he couldn't exhibit it in qualifying, getting that dirty qualifying time, was still able to post a 7:14? No, couldn't have been that. 7:27 maybe? Let's go ahead and right on board here with Fear the Fun in third position. For those of you not familiar with the Nürburgring, this will give you a good view of what our drivers are seeing as they navigate the green hell. My apologies, the connection here with the Twitch server seeming to be a little unstable this evening, but now we're back into the green, and just like that, LS Subaru and Fear the Fun move up to first and second respectively. Enraged Barney making contact with the wall heading toward the second carousel and falls back to P3. Let's go to fifth of Audrex in the TVR, back out onto the straightaway. You can see Creatrum up there in fourth. It was but a speck in our camera view there just a moment ago. In the background here, looking at Audrex, is Joe Beardy in sixth position. So Joe Beardy reclaiming a spot after the incident with Audrex earlier on. Back through the squiggly bits. LS Subaru now in second with Fear the Fun in first. A lot of trust there LS Subaru has in the racing prowess of Fear the Fun, right there on the back of the Challenge Stradale, basically looking right on into that mid-engine. The bonnet window there. We'll see if Enraged Barney here has an opportunity to maybe play it a little bit safe. Dropping back to P3 isn't the worst thing to have happen. You don't have the two Ferraris right in your rearview mirror anymore, and instead can simply focus on running a good race with hopes that these two may make a mistake and try to take advantage of that. Riding on board there with LS Subaru. This is where Audrex and Joe Beardy got tangled up a lap ago. We've got one car into pit lane. That's going to be Dominic PSD. racing for us, racing with us here for the first time in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And while Dominic is having some struggles here today, definitely hats off and a round of applause for showing up here in week number 4, running their own race. And hopefully no matter what happens, we'll see Dominic back out on the track, maybe in week 5 or season 51. Back to Born as Ghost here in the RS 500, trailing Joe Beard in 6th, Audrex in 5th. There's Oof Serena doing what the WRX is pretty fond of doing, which is driving it off-road. That's going to make it difficult, though, to keep pace with the top 5. Go back to Enraged Barney in 3rd. Closing in on Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun going to do a good drift. But much like the off-roading of the STI, drifting is not going to work out all that great in terms of maintaining speed. And with that, Barney moves back up to P2. Or I shouldn't say back up to P2, moves up to P2. After starting the race in P1, takes that corner a little awkwardly, perhaps getting up onto the curbing that Joe Beardy warned us about. And now Fear the Fun. In fact, back up to P2. Wanting to thank Red Duckling once again with the follow earlier on in the broadcast. If you're enjoying your time here on X Adventure and the Forza Spec Racing Series on a Tuesday, please click that follow button. Get you a little pop-up here at the bottom of the screen thanking you for your follow. That's really it. We won't make too much of a big deal out of it. It'll make it easier for you to find the channel moving forward. There goes Enraged Barney. Going to go ahead and, I don't know, what should we call that? Guardrail grinding there in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Now up to the carousel. This is where Enraged Barney had a little bit of issues keeping the Aston planted during qualifying, and much better that time around. LS Subaru really looking to solidify the Season 50 championship here. If he could pick up a victory, we'll most certainly do that here in week number 4. Let's go back to Joe Beardy in 6th. Joe Beardy qualified P3, chasing down Audrex, so going to have another opportunity to try to get around the TBR here. One of the cooler views here in Forza Motorsport, the spectating views, or they call them, I think, replay views here. I think they actually kind of implemented the helicopter overhead view back in Forza Motorsport 4, complete with the sound effect and everything. And that was with the Nürburgring GP DLC. And there, what a lovely pass by Joe Beardy, able to get up on the curbs and get around Audrex here in the complex string of the Nordschleife. That's not easy to do. and made it work. Very well done. And now getting himself a 2-car lead here over Audrex as they get ready to hit the long straightaway. Let's take a look at the situation here of Joe Beardy's vehicle. Already up to 26% in terms of tire degradation. So if we map that out to lap number 4, we may see this closer to 60. So Joe Beardy might be fighting a little bit of lost grip later on in the race. But compare that to Audrex in the TVR. A much better situation there. So that's quite the disadvantage for the M2. The TVR under 10% tire wear on all corners. Let's go back to the pass that Joe Beardy made on Audrex there a few corners back. Looks like it was set up thanks to Audrex getting up into the grass, which and subsequently had him running wide into the next corner, and Joe Beardy was able to take advantage of that. Slide on by. Hats off. Well done. Well played. GG's. Let's go to Krejcir in 4th, closing in on Fear the Fun. With Enraged Barney now in 2nd, at least for the moment. We're going to have a 3-way battle for 2nd. Enraged Barney, Fear the Fun, and Krejcir. 2, 3, 4. Here comes Fear the Fun. Very early on in the start of lap number 3. Able to get around Enraged Barney. I gotta tell you, I'm very impressed here. We've seen a lot fewer collisions and cars ending up in the guardrails than I expected. Being that it is this late in the season, I truly thought that drivers would be kind of really pushing the cars a lot harder, but if you want to make it through this race, even though it's only a 4-lap race, it is 12.93 miles each lap. And with simulation damage turned on, you don't want to be one of those drivers having to hobble back to pit lane. That's never fun. LS Subaru. I mean, thanks to these 3 drivers here competing for 2nd, again, that only helps Subaru in extending the lead, as oftentimes when the drivers are in close competition for position, can end up hindering more than helping in keeping pace with the race leader. That's a cool look there too. LS Subaru up in front, Fear the Fun in 2nd, Enraged Barney in 3rd, Krejcir in 4th, Joe Beardy in 5th. Audrex is 6th after getting passed about a lap ago by Joe Beardy in the M2. Borna's Ghost in 7th. Oops, Serena, unfortunately not having a great race. Back in 8th position there with the WRX STI, the Scooby. Soul Motion Fire in 9th. Patches Riley in 10th. And Modern Weapon and Dominic 11th and 12th. Unfortunately, we lost a driver going from race number 7 out at the Grand Prix circuit of the Nürburgring to this one here, SDR Onion opting to do real-life things. Had other places to go, people to see, he said. I don't blame him. That's the beauty, really, of the FM4 series here, is that you don't have to take it so seriously. If you got other things going on, stepping away is A-okay. They're not gonna penalize you for prioritizing other things. So if that means you race a few races here, a few races there, that's cool. If you can do all 9, that's even better. But really, they take your top 4 weeks worth of points. So 1 drop week, tally them all together, and whoever has the most is the champion. Pretty standard across community leagues here. Those that run multiple races and aren't just one-off events. Pretty standard to have a drop week in place. And that really, what that really does, beyond helping you out if you have a bad week, what it also allows is if there's something else you got going on a Tuesday, on one of those days of the week, or one of those Tuesdays of the season, well, you could say, hey, well, I can't race that one. That'll be my drop week. So that means the other 4 weeks, I just got to be really on it. Who wasn't on it there a couple of turns ago was Fear the Fun, now giving up both 2nd and 3rd to Barney and Cratrim. And there goes Barney up into the wall with the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. That's going to allow Cratrim to assume P2. And now here goes Enraged Barney and Fear the Fun side by side. Be careful, be careful. Back out on the track is Enraged. And just like that, Fear the Fun back up into a podium spot. Penguin says, honestly, if I had the hardware, I might give this whole racing thing a shot, but I do not think my computer could handle this many graphics. I would say that Forza Motorsports F is pretty well optimized. So if you have to run things on low settings just to get the frames that you need to have smooth gameplay, then you can most certainly do that. Another option is and a cheaper option than a gaming PC would be an Xbox Series S or even the Series X if you want to go up a level. And both of those consoles, the S and the X, will have the next Forza Motorsport title. So you can buy with confidence that it'll perform Forza Motorsport 7 as well as the new Forza Motorsport title on the way. There goes Enraged Barney now making contact. Coming off of that straightaway, carrying a lot of speed there. Rubbing off some of that speed there on the tire wall / the guardrail, and not going to help the case here in the battle for a podium spot, but still has Cratrim and Fear the Fun in view as they cross the line, get the white flag here, this 4th and final lap of race number 8. Penguin shouting at Barney, "Stop making out with the wall! Keep it in your car!" And wow, Fear the Fun taking liberties with that corner. I don't know if the judges will have to say about that one. Joe Beardy holding on to P5 right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at that tire situation. You might remember was trending towards 30% there on lap toward the end of lap 2. And here we are at the beginning of lap number 4, already up to 42%. So yeah, we'll be flirting with about 60% tire wear up front. That may have little to no impact on tire performance here on the latter half of this lap. Rex quite a ways back. Joe Beardy has established some separation on the TVR of Rex. Born as Ghost in 7th. Oops Arena still there in 8th position. Slow Motion Fire in 9th. Patches Riley in 10th. Modern Weapon in 11th. And again, I commend Dominic in 12th position, running their own race. Do not be discouraged, folks, and do not do not think, oh, because I'm either new to Forza Motorsport or I'm just not that experienced with Forza Motorsport, or I just don't have that level of familiarity with racing against real drivers. Maybe I do well in single-player mode, but I'm tired of running against the AI. I want to race against living, breathing human beings. Well, even if they've got the leg up on you, just see your way to the finish. And over time, I promise you'll get better. You'll figure out some of the areas that you're struggling in, and you'll make improvements. And for Dominic, I mean, this is a very, very high learning curve of a week here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Running out at the Nürburgring GP, which is a pretty complex Grand Prix circuit, and then following that up with the Nordschleife. It's a tall order, but Dominic's still out there on the track. Very well done. About halfway through the final lap are our top three. Fear the Fun now back up to third. Well, Fear the Fun's been there after Enraged Barney made a little bit of a mistake here at the beginning of lap 4. We'll see if Fear makes a mistake of his own, or he's going to be able to hold on to it and perhaps challenge Cratrim. Although the Aston Martin V8 Vantage looking quite solid there of Cratrim. I was talking earlier about how Audrex is one of those very consistent veterans of the Forza Spec Racing Series. Well, Cratrim is even more so. The most championships of any driver currently in FN4 history. After 50 seasons, having 10 of those to his name. Driver formerly known as C-Tom. Into carousel number 1. White light. I might sign up for Coda just to see how I stack up. There you go. No, I definitely encourage you to. There really is no reason not to get out there, see how you stack up with your teammate, but then also maybe see if there's another driver here in FM4 who your skills match up nicely with. Fear the Fun really losing the back end of the Challenge Stradale. And then it sets you up nicely because now you've got that one race worth of experience here in FN4 under your belt. Sets you up for season 51. And then you can get out there for the new season in whatever vehicle the champion may select, where everybody's points are reset to 0. And see how well you do. There goes Fear the Fun up into the wall again. That's going to allow Enraged Barney to creep back up into a podium spot, P3, with just a few quarters remaining here. And Penguin says, Barney, capitalize. This is your moment. Fear the Fun maybe getting a little bit of contact there on the rear right quarter panel of the Aston Martin. Drops back about 3-4 car lengths here. And with just one more carousel remaining, then a right-hander out onto the the straightaway. Then they'll have that last complex bit before they cross the line. Turn 10 Studios putting the start-finish line in the proper spot here a few games ago. They used to have the start-finish on the straightaway, which made things a lot easier for like multiplayer lobbies and having clean starts, but then people said, well, we want the authenticity, the realism of where the start-finish line really is, which is just near the exit point of pit lane. And down the front straightaway, LS Subaru looking to pick up his third victory here in Season 50. This time around with the Challenge Stradale. Quickly go there to Subaru, getting to go under the Bilstein Bridge here. Hang a little bit of a dog leg left. And then you'll do the Forza two-step here. Left, right, to the line. All right, here we go. The battle for third. Enraged Barney. We saw Barney make a mistake here toward the end of the straightaway, getting it up into the fence. See if he's able to correct that this time by. Looks nice and tidy there. Here comes Spear the Fun to the inside. Makes contact with Enraged Barney. Enraged Barney off into the grass. Slides the V8 around. And as they come into the final right-hander, Fear the Fun is going to go ahead and wave Enraged Barney by across the line. It'll be Barney. Well, they haven't actually crossed the line. They're just sitting there. Neither has accepted. Yeah, okay, so I take that as Fear the Fun accepting that last podium spot. Of third. That'll be followed by Joe Beardy. Joe Beardy, not bad. I know Joe Beardy was very, very hopeful to get a podium here. But considering the talent that we do have on the track, fifth is not bad at all. Horner's Ghost looks to finish in seventh, followed by Oof Serena, who just couldn't move out of P8. Then Slow Motion Fire in ninth. Patches in 10th. And that'll be followed by Modern Weapon and Dominic in 11th and 12th. That was a unique interaction. Just a little bit of on-track kindness. No, you go ahead. I insist. You go ahead. No, you earned it. No, I got into you. I pushed you off the track a little bit. That's my bad. You take it. No, that's cool. It was a legit pass. Maybe a little friendly banter, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't friendly. Who knows? We'll talk to some of our drivers here when we come back from a little bit of a break. Again, ads support the channel oh so slightly, and allows me to take a quick little breather. When we come back, we'll talk to our drivers. We'll preview what's ahead here for week number 5, and then I'll tell you what else is to come here on the channel, although you can kind of see that here with the intermission screen, but I'll talk to it. What else you can catch here? Other gaming action on X Adventure. You're watching, or you did watch, the Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 4 here of season 50. We'll be right back. All right, our Deutschland doubleheader. Easier said. No, easier done than said. Not really, because it included the Nürburgring GP and the Nordschleife. It's a wrap here. Week number 4 of the Forza Spec Racing Series with just one race remaining. 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, out at Circuit of the Americas. Let's go ahead and quickly go over to our driver spotlight. We'll have to be pretty fast here tonight. We're already beyond the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and bring Enraged Barney here into the channel at the request of Penguin. I know you were in there before Penguin even said anything, but Barney, Penguin wanted you in there ASAP. Apparently you had pinged Penguin that you had qualified P1, and for Penguin to tune in, and now apparently you've upset Penguin, finishing in, gosh, where did I put fourth?
Yeah, fourth.
You and it seemed like you and Fear the Fun having a little bit of an exchange there at the end at the finish line, going into that final corner after the straightaway. Fear the Fun was able to get onto the inside, make a little bit of contact with you. That pushed you out into the grass. You were able to keep it off the wall, but it had you slipping and sliding. What was that interaction there, and the interaction that ultimately I think had Fear the Fun? Well, you just confirmed it. Going ahead and nudging forward for third.
Yeah, I think neither of us wanted to claim the position because he didn't feel good about bumping me out of the way on the final corner. And I mean, I knew he would have had the position. He was faster than me the whole race, so I was fine with him taking third. And neither of us wanted to budge. We both stopped, and no one wanted to go. So we both just sat there and waited till the other one went.
Well, see,
and eventually, Fear gave up.
Yeah. Well, see, that's a really cool thing. I'm trying to make something out of it that it really isn't, just for laughs. But I mean, that's really one of the cool things here about the Forza Spec Racing Series is y'all are understanding of the scenarios, the situations that unfold on the track, which are largely incidental most of the time, and you guys were just having a little bit of banter of who was going to finish on the final podium spot.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I should have won, but after that first lap, when I saw Aldrich and Joe let those two through, I was like, yeah, there's no chance of me winning here. So I just went to have fun, basically.
Yeah, well, that was exciting how you guys were basically shuffling back and forth for pretty much the entirety of the race. I mean, there wasn't a single point where really you were in a spot for much longer than maybe a few minutes. It seems kind of nerve-wracking, especially here at the Nordschleife. That's not an easy track to go side by side with often. It's not an easy track to get off the circuit on and come out of it without any significant damage to the vehicle. So you're able to do that despite having Fear's Ferrari and Cratchim with the Aston Martin there for a bit. You guys just kind of very much playing in the same space there for quite a bit.
Yeah, the Subaru, when it's by itself on this track, or not the Subaru, sorry, the Aston on this track by itself, it's not fun. So adding 3 other cars racing around you and then shuffling back and forth between positions, it's definitely a scary experience, especially when one mistake can send you into the grass and just completely kill the car and put you in last place. It's definitely nerve-wracking.
Would you say that the conversations, the dialogue over Discord is quieter or equal to or more happening than normal races?
I mean, back at the GP circuit, it was definitely we were all talking the whole time. But here, you could tell everyone just went into like pure race mode and just went concentrated because it was like every like couple minutes, everyone would just go completely dead silent.
Wow,
which was really funny to hear as everyone concentrated on either not hitting the wall or not hitting the cars around them.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. Well, that's always interesting to know because I know you guys like to have a little bit of fun. So I didn't know if perhaps somebody would get in there and kind of chirp at y'all to try to throw you off or anything. But to know that there was kind of a collective silence as everybody was very focused is pretty neat to know and hear about. Talking with Enraged Barney here in the driver's spotlight. Now that you've got the Nürburgring duo behind you, we've got just one more track, one more race here in season 50. All in all, what do you think of like the celebration, the theatrics that the organizers have put together here? 9 cars, or excuse me, 9 races, 9 different vehicles. Of course, you had 10 to choose from. If you can remind me, which one is going to get the pass from you? Which one will you not be racing here in season 50?
Well, originally I was gonna pass on the Scirocco, but running both the Scirocco and the Subaru at Laguna, I was like, no, the Subaru's got to go. I can't drive that thing. So I think it's the Subaru that's gonna be gone.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Oof Serena seemed to be struggling with that out here at the Nürburgring. Of course, the track in and of itself is a handful, but it seems like the STI wasn't as fit for everybody's driving as maybe one would think. So very cool, and I suspect that means you'll be out there on the track for the Circuit of the Americas finale.
I'm planning on it.
Cool.
I don't know if I absolutely will be, but I will most likely be there.
Okay. And then I want to correct myself because Penguin said in the chat, now hold up for just a moment. I'm not upset. He performed well for being slid into the wall by a rigged track. That's my guy right there. Here for the sport, not for the trophy.
Exactly. There's no point of being here to win unless you are here to win. And then you better start winning.
Yeah. Because if you don't win, then you can't win, right?
Can't win, you can't win. Listen, if you're not first, you're last.
Not first, you're last. Well, that's true. But yeah, definitely a very accommodating and welcoming crew here in FM4. So even if you aren't first, it's all good. It's all gravy. All right. Any last parting words here on the week 4 Tuesday evening? That was the Deutschland duo or doubleheader.
Yeah, this goes out to Penguin. I will win next week, all right? That's the plan. I have the NSX, so I will win next week.
There you go. It'll be, we'll see how many other NSXs are out there. I know a lot of people have already gone to it early, but I can't remember who all is left, you being one of them. All right. Well, Barney, well done out there, and we'll see you in a week's time out at COTA.
All right, see you.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring Subaru, who through the first 5 races of the season, it was looking really interesting. Then in race 6, you picked up your second victory, that being last week in week 3. And now here at the Nürburgring, you told us that the Challenge Stradale was going to be very strong at this track, and you proved that. Able to work your way through, too. I think you had to pass, 5 cars to get through after getting your dirtied qualifying time?
Yeah, started P5, so I had 4 cars in front that I had to get past. There was a unfortunate incident that happened during lap 1 that involved me locking up, Fear going into the back of me, and then I went into the back of Joe, and then Joe went into the back of Audrix, and Joe and Audrix went into the sand trap, while Fear and I were able to have a reasonable recovery to chase down Barney for the lead. But yeah, it was unfortunate for Joe and Audrix that had to happen to them, with those two being able to actually secure a clean lap and then have something like that happen to them. It's yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description of that incident. I kind of had a hunch that there was something a little bit more to it based on where my camera was positioned. I could only really see the contact between Joe and Audrex, but you had mentioned that there was kind of a chain reaction that had happened there. There was a bit of time there with Fear the Fun that you two were going back and forth. Fear the Fun also in the 360 Challenge Stradale. But I don't know. With your time here in FM4, how long did you expect that to keep up? And then were you pretty, confident that at some point you'd be able to separate and basically do what you did?
Yeah, I mean, I was it was fun racing with Fear for the lead, but unfortunately he made a couple mistakes that resulted in him falling behind, and then it kind of just kept piling on. I suppose the lead grew more and more as the race went on. So yeah,
Fell apart from there, and that allowed you to kind of skate past and basically run the rest of the race uncontested, as is so often the case with LS Subaru. So I got to ask you now, because you said earlier that you were good to race in week 5, but now you've, I think, unofficially secured yet another championship. This, I think, being your 9th straight here in FM4, which is just still mind-boggling. Will we see you in the TVR 1 week from tonight?
Absolutely.
All
like
right.
I said in the previous interview, this is probably the highlight of my week. So I have nothing but this to look forward to now.
Sticking to it.
My weeks are real boring.
way to go, 2023. You're off to a great start for Subaru.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Well, hey, Subaru, any shout outs that you want to put out there here as we wrap up this evening? Or for you, this morning?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to shout out my team, like always.
Yeah.
But I also want to give a big shout out to Slow Motion Fire, because, he made all 10 of the liveries for my cars. Well, he made 9 of them. I did reuse my my Subaru livery from season 43, which if you didn't notice, it still had the number 4 on it, despite me running number 3 this season. So that was a thing. But yeah, Slow made 9 of the other 9 cars into liveries for me. So yeah, that was a titanic work for him, since he also had to make 10 liveries for himself as well.
Yeah. You couldn't even be bothered to change the 4 to the 3.
Well, I didn't make the livery. That was the XR Titan, and he doesn't have Forza 7 anymore, so there wasn't much I could do about it now,
there you
could
go.
I?
Okay. All right. Well, that explains that. And that was the WRX, I think you told us last time, was the vehicle that you ultimately chose after having won your first championship, yeah?
Sorry, what was the question again?
I think the WRX STI was the vehicle that you had chosen after you won your first championship here in FM4.
That is correct, yes.
It didn't seem to be a favorite, though, amongst drivers here in Season 50.
No, that did end up being like one of the worst cars out of the 10, and they disrespected the Subaru WRX for that by making it a car that's where its only strength is momentum and nothing else.
Yeah, momentum indeed. We saw Uf Serena having the momentum of the STI right into the tire wall here at the Nürburgring, but competitive amongst itself, or perhaps other cars like it, but here in Season 50, not so much the case. All right, well, hey, Subaru, congratulations picking up your 3rd win here in Season 50, and again, unofficially, your 9th straight championship here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. It's a call to all drivers who might be watching, listening, whatever the case. Give this guy a run for the money in Season 51. And Subaru, I know I'm a week early maybe in asking this, but are you already... I know you have a list, but are you already kind of honing in on one on that list that you're going to select for Season 51?
Yeah, I already have the next car in mind, and I gotta see if it hasn't already been used first.
Just that quick, already on top of it. Very cool. Well, Subaru, well done. Look forward to seeing you there at COTA. It's always a treat whenever we get you there in the finale, so we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Thanks.
Or Wednesday again for Subaru there on the other side of the date line. Let's go ahead and bring in Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun. There is one thing that we certainly cannot say about you, and that's that you lack excitement out there on the track. Nay, you were very exciting all the way up to the last couple of corners there with Barney. Going into the inside, it looked like a largely fair maneuver. I mean, there was a little bit of contact made, but I don't know that any... I don't know. Maybe there would be some real world race officials who would penalize you for that one. But all in all, you guys stopped it right before the finish line, and ultimately, in some sort of quick conversation, it was decided that you would claim 3rd.
I mean, I was trying to give it to him. I don't like winning, or not winning, but placing ahead that way.
Yeah.
But he was like, "We can sit here all day," and then he was threatening Joe Beerte with a 3rd place win, and as much as I love Joe, I'm not going to not take a 3rd place if somebody's going to give it to me, so I'll be a little selfish on that, I guess.
Would you say that an appropriate descriptor of you would be controlled chaos?
I think that's what a lot of people would call me. Yeah, absolutely. But like that's what brings the gusto to the race.
Yeah,
like
there you
go. Who's the wild card? I'm the wild card. I'll take that. Wear like a badge of honor.
There you go. Is it as much fun for you, kind of shuffling back and forth in position, especially so on the Nordschleife here? I mean that track lent you the opportunity to really bounce from second back to fourth, back to third, then second again, and back again. Is it as exciting for you as it is for us, or to an extent, is it nerve-wracking at all?
No, I love good close racing, especially when it's not for first and it's not super serious or anything. But I enjoyed it. I love being close. I love getting good passes done, especially on Nürburgring. You know, it's a tight track with a lot of corners. It's pretty fast. You just gotta kind of know where you're going, see where your opponent makes a mistake or things along that line.
Yeah,
it's a fun give and take track, especially with just how different those cars were. The Astons were a little bit better in the straights, and I was a little bit better in the corner. So it was definitely like a give and take, and where I was good and where I wasn't.
And if you could remind me, fear the fun here in the driver's spotlight, if you could remind me what two vehicles do you have left to choose from, if it's a choice at all, going into the finale at COTA?
It is between the Volkswagen Scirocco and the Volkswagen Beetle.
One of two VWs, and I mean my mind wants me to think that the Scirocco is the option, but of course we've heard about the woes that it has with regards to tire grip. Perhaps the fuel situation in that car might be not well off, but I don't know. Do you go for the Beetle or what?
The Scirocco was my favorite car that we've run in recent memory, besides maybe the Datsun 510, which is way back before you even joined us.
Yeah.
I love the Scirocco so much. It was such a fun car, especially in A-Class. So I'm going with the Scirocco. It's not that the Beetle is bad. It's just the Beetle's a little bit unpredictable. And it understeers for, it's a Beetle. So all the weight's in the back. I like the Scirocco. I like the way it handles. It's got good speed. It's got good torque. Gonna get off the corners. Like, not great, but not terribly either. I think I'm gonna do okay with it.
Might this statement have you second guessing it? And I think I'm saying this correctly. I believe Slow Motion Fire beat you with the Beetle at the Nürburgring GP, you racing the TVR.
I made a mistake coming out. What is that? There's the dog leg right before the dog leg coming into the chicane.
The NGK chicane, so yeah. Uh-huh.
I made a mistake coming out onto that dog leg straight and hit the grass and slowed myself down.
You're going to blame one mistake for you not beating a VW Beetle on a 14 lap at the GP?
It's a quick car. I give it that, but I love me my Scirocco. I've been holding on to it. I was either going to run it at the Nürburgring or run it at COTA, and I think I'm choosing COTA.
Okay, my last case for the Beetle, it has a roof rack.
I love the Beetle, don't get me wrong. It's just I love the Scirocco more. I didn't get to run the Beetle season, so I don't have that attachment to be like, oh man, it was so fun. Yeah. I ran the Scirocco. I did good in the Scirocco, and if it's gonna be the last time like we can run it competitively, then I'm gonna run it competitively.
All right, fair enough. I wasn't like trying to push you in the direction of the Beetle. I just thought it would be funny to see you racing in the Beetle. I mean, the Scirocco I'm just as curious to see how that will perform out there at Circuit of the Americas as any other vehicle. So
I could pull the Beetle out of a hat. I just don't want to. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
We'll find out race night.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, for the fun. Well done today. You were able to. Your hardware stuck with you for both races, so that's commendable. And gosh, I'm trying to remember from your first race. What was that? A 7th place finish. Like I said, back behind Slow Motion Fire out there at the Nürburgring GP. But all in all, pretty good season, despite a few disconnects. And we'll see you out there for the finale.
Yes, sir. I'll be there. I'm pretty sure my game's not gonna crash, so
Nice.
I hope the plays pretty decently. I don't know because I know my tires and fuel are gonna go down a little bit quicker than everybody else's.
Yeah.
But
that's what makes it exciting.
I'm not worried about winning. I'm here for the fun times.
He's here for the fun times. All right, that's a good way to put it here on the way out. Thank you so much, Fear, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Dustin.
Yep, you too. All right, and I don't want to say last but not least because you never know when somebody might sneak in there into the driver's spotlight after him, but we've got Soul Motion Fire here. Soul Motion Fire, I was just talking about your commendable performance out there at the GP in the VW Beetle, beating a TVR driven by Fear the Fun, and then out here at the Nordschleife, you've looks like a little bit further back, finishing in, what is that, ninth, just behind Oops Arena?
It was 9th behind Patches.
Oh, behind Patches.
10th
Okay.
Behind Patches. 10th behind Patches.
You guys shuffled there as I was trying to take note of everybody, but okay, behind Patches and you in 10th.
Yeah, Patches had the Ferrari there, and he got close enough that on that last straightaway he could outrun me in the Ferrari.
Got it. Timeout real quick here. I totally forgot I was going to do this in between your interview and Fear the Funds, but thank you so much, Dominic, for the subscription here to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. And again, well done to you for sticking it out for both races and doing your thing out there. Hope we can see you back out on the track for week number 5 and then in subsequently season 51. You had somebody else joining you here today, and I think we had at least one other person in the chat saying that they were eager to participate maybe next week.
Yeah, Dominic had registered kind of last minute, so he was scrambling to get some cars put together. So I think next week with some more practice, we'll see a little bit quicker times out of him because he just put these cars together last minute, and some of these are not easy to drive without any tuning. So
and not an easy selection of tracks at all either.
Right, to be dumped into Nürburgring there, the Nordschleife with a car you don't know, and
yeah. Okay, so back to your performance. We had you in the VW Beetle there in race number 7. Remind me what you were driving at the Nordschleife?
I had the TVR.
You had the TVR, which then leaves you with what going into the finale next Tuesday?
I've got the WRX and the NSX left, and I will
know
not
where
be
you're
using
going.
the WRX.
Wait, did you just say you're going with the WRX?
No, I will not be using the WRX.
You're going to put that one to the side. Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember much of that season? That was what? That was that was the first season after Subaru had claimed a championship, and that was going into season 43. So that wasn't all that long ago. It just happened to be one that I was unable to commentate. Was it just as lackluster then, or was it hard to tell because everybody was driving the same car?
Oh, everybody's in the same car, so it provided close racing. It's
a
little bit here because it doesn't have great top end, doesn't really have great acceleration. There was a few tracks where it was where it kind of had some pace, and that was Lime Rock was one of them. Outside of that, it hasn't really been a great choice. There's been a bunch of other cars that are better than it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it was definitely as I was watching a few drivers pick it up through the season, although that wasn't even that many, I could see that there was definitely something about it that was at a disadvantage, and of course that might have been a combination of multiple things. But it was curious to see that actually be, I suppose, behind or not as well performing as the VW Beetle. I thought the Beetle would be the one that was kind of the immediately going to be thrown onto the shelf where nobody touched it, but that was not the case at all.
Well, the Beetle, you had to commit to it because it needed some serious tuning. It was pretty skittish, but it out accelerates anything in the field. So that's why I ended up using it here at Nürburgring, because there's so many corners that are slow, and you could just rocket ship out of the corners with the Beetle. And you could see that race between Fear and myself in the TVR. the TVR had front grip, he'd get through the corners, catch up to me, and then coming out of the corners, I could just pull away from him. So we had a good battle there with two totally different cars for most of that race.
Yeah. Fear the Fun has already talked to us about the disadvantages of the Scirocco, the tire degradation and all that going into COTA. What other cars might still be on the table for a few of our drivers where they might have overlooked something that's going to pose a bit of a challenge going into that final race? Are there any others that are kind of outliers, I suppose, beside the Subaru WRX, because we've already talked about that, but are there any others that maybe somebody should have stayed away from if that's the last vehicle that they've got left here going into the finale?
Well, at this point in the season, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by the challenges, but you've got a couple of the cars that are on sport tires, so they're obviously going to be easier on their tires. You're not going to have to worry about tire wear coming into play. About every vehicle on the race tires, you're just going to have to keep that in the back of your mind. And then you got fuel usage issues. So, the M2, the thirstiest car out here.
Yep.
And the Scirocco kind of walks the line between both of them. It's burns through its tires and it's thirsty. So we're gonna see how Fear's strategy plays out here. I'm curious to see how he plays this one because I think it's going to be an uphill battle. Not that it's a quick car, but he's got some other concerns he's going to have to watch.
Yeah, I think he threw it out there that he's really doing it for the kind of the excitement and the what if, like he's hypothesizing what the car will be able to do at COTA, and we'll see if that works out for him. You talked about the M2, the fuel issues. That was something that Joe Beardy was talking about going out to the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, was whether or not that vehicle would be able to do 4 laps around that nearly 13-mile circuit on one full tank of fuel. So it'll be very, very interesting. And all in all, what would you say? Has this season proved successful? I know it's a celebration of season 50, so it makes it very challenging for y'all to do this again, just because of the amount of work that some of the drivers have had to put in, both in liveries, but then tuning and car selection and all that. But all in all, season 50 here through the first 4 weeks. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I've had a lot of fun with this one. I've struggled with it for a few weeks trying to get cars ready every week, but over format, it's provided a lot of good racing, a lot of strategy, and we've seen quite a few new winners. I think the NSX has proven to be the dominant car, but none of this would have happened if it wasn't for everybody in the mod team, because there was a ton of work that went in behind the scenes to prepare all these cars and do all the graphics work that Kuda has done preparing all this. And so shout out to those guys for helping put all this together. And next season, we're back to the spec cars, and we can all breathe a sigh of relief because we're not preparing multiple cars every week.
That's right. That's right. Dominic there in the chat says, thanks, everyone. Thoroughly enjoyed it all, despite the less than favorable result. Looking forward to getting some prep in before next week. So great to hear, Dominic, that you're planning to be back for week number 5. That's the way to do it. No matter how much of a disadvantage you may have coming in so late into the season, and of course how much of the skill that you want to improve personally. It's awesome to see you not only jump in and say I want to be a part of this thing, but then also finish the race, but then also be out here again for next week's racing. We definitely look forward to seeing that. And anybody else who wants to join in like Dominic has, let Slow Motion Fire, Fear the Fun, Modern Weapon, let those guys know that you want to participate either in the finale, or if you're just kind of gearing up, ready to go for season 51, just give them a holler, let them know that you're interested. That way they can account for you. And then certainly as registration opens up for season 51, be ready to complete that. So cool stuff there. Soul Motion Fire, any last words before we wrap up week number 4 and prepare for the finale here of season 50?
Nothing really. Just I think the Enduro at season 50 there is going to be a fun one to watch. We're going to see a lot of different strategies play out, so you won't want to miss that.
Don't want to miss that. And that's a good segue to a little teaser that I have. I'm looking to bring, during the downtime here of the stream, in between races, some marbles racing to the stream, so that you all who are watching can get in on the racing fun yourself. Granted, it's all random, it's RNG. It's how well your marble will perform. Well, that's entirely up to the physics of the game. But not only do we have the finale 1 week from tonight, but I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see if we can get a little bit of marble racing going, and who knows? Maybe you can be victorious there. Even if you can't win out on the track here in FM4, perhaps you've got the lucky marble. What do you think about that? So you gonna participate? You want to do some marble racing?
Well, I haven't had a win since we raced the Saturn, so I'm up for a win.
You'll take them wherever you can get them, right?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. All right, cool. Well, I've enjoyed Season 50 just as much. This has been a cool level of variety. I understand things have got to get back to normality here for Season 51. But awesome work so far this season. Can't wait to close it out with the finale. So have yourself a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see you then.
All right. Thank you for putting on the broadcast, Dustin.
You betcha.
Have a good one.
Absolutely. Love doing it. And yeah. Yeah, I told you guys at the beginning of the season, I'm looking at some things to kind of mix things up a little bit, get the viewer engagement going, try to find ways for you all to be interactive. Even if you like lurking, like there's no harm in participating in a little bit of marble fun. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then great, all the better. Then show up next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Basically, we'll throw a bunch of virtual marbles onto a track. You get to claim one of them with your Twitch tag, and we'll roll them downhill and see who comes out as the quickest through the obstacle course. So there you go. Giblets asking a little bit ago, where do I go to name a corner? I just posted the link not too long ago, but I'll go ahead and do it again. If you are a subscriber to the channel, like Dominic has just done not too long ago, and you would like to name a corner out at the track of Circuit of the Americas for the finale here in Season 50, go ahead and complete that form. I promise you I'm not asking for any personal information. I just need to know what your Twitch tag is so I can verify that you are a subscriber, and then you can pick a corner on the circuit and name it, and then that way as the drivers are going around the track 1 week from tonight, as they go through your corner, I'll call it out. There you go. And I am asking you to pick 3 different corners, so that way if somebody submits their entry before you, that maybe your second or your third submission will count. If it gets to a point where none of those are available anymore, then I'll certainly reach out to you and say, hey, how about turn 20? Like that's what we've got left. So I don't think you'll care which corner it is, but you can manually select it in the form and then give it a name. Again, we try to keep things family friendly here, so somewhere in the ballpark of PG-13 will be much appreciated. Otherwise, I'll have to say thanks for your subscription, but I can't read that name aloud. So keep it reasonable. Keep it fun. You can be funny, you can be serious with it, whatever you want to do. You can dedicate it to somebody, whatever works for you, as long as we can read it without getting under the microscope of Twitch or any other entity who might be curious about why we're rattling off such words. That would be awesome. All right, I'll be live again on Friday, approximately 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, there might be something that keeps me from hitting that right on the mark, but we'll see. I'll be playing Flight Simulator at that time, unless I have a change of heart. I don't think I will. It's already Tuesday evening going into Wednesday, so it's probably going to be Flight Sim. And then on Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, I will complete my playthrough of Hunt Down, which is a 2D side-scroller pixel art game. It was a lot of fun this past Sunday. I only wish I had known that the audio was really, really loud. So if you watch the VOD back, just plan not to really hear much reaction from me, as it's kind of muted. I'll have that fixed here for the finale, and then I'll be going into Mafia, the Definitive Edition, 1 week from this coming Sunday. And then, of course, we'll be here 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, with the Season 50 finale. Thanks again, Red Duckling 6224 for the follow. Thank you, Dominic. Not only a new participant here in FM4 this week, but then also a first-time subscriber here to the channel. Thank you so much. Y'all be happy, be healthy, be kind to one another here throughout the week. Have a fantastic weekend if I don't get a chance to chat with you before then, or even over the weekend. Hope to see you next Tuesday, again, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the finale at Circuit of the Americas. Have a good one, all. Take care. Peace.